truth is that you're trying way too hard. You're trying to do way too many things in way too little time. You're trying to give 25% here, and then you're trying to give 15% over here, and then you're trying to give 30% over here, and then 18% over here. You only have 100% to give. When you think about the things that you're actually devoting time to, you realize how much time you're actually putting into things that may not give you the return that you want. You have to think about personal life, family life, relationship life, work life. That's already 4 categories that could be split up into 25% each. Then if you have a business, or then recreation, or friends, or whatever else it is, pets, you got to think about these things too. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, you're trying to figure out how to balance life, and you're doing way too much. You got to think about life as like a bucket system. You know what I'm saying? You got different buckets for different categories. And in those buckets are certain levels of water that you can only raise those buckets to. So you got to think about, how much am I putting time to this one thing that's not letting me be able to give enough time to these others. That's why people, whenever they're in relationships, they're like, I feel like you don't give me no time no more. Because you come home from work, you feel like you need to de-stress, so then you have that personal time and you're pouring into your personal bucket that you're not pouring into the relationship bucket. Or, as a kid, you're like, hey dad, hey mom, I really want you to spend time with me, but you're always busy doing this, and this. You have these other habits or these different things that you're doing that takes away from my bucket, I think that, especially as a business owner for myself, I found myself being in this predicament. That's why, like, for my vision board, I have different categories of things that I need to do, because it's different buckets. I need to make sure I'm pouring into the personal, being able to pour into my students, being able to pour into the business, being able to pour into the content, being able to pour into trading, being able to pour into my own knowledge, being able to pour into my family, like my social life, like all that type of stuff, man. It gets overwhelming, and it feels very flooded. You know what I mean? When it feels flooded, then you're like, I don't even want to do any of it, because now it feels all way too overwhelming. So what you gotta learn how to do is learn how to split life up into buckets. Put life into those categories where you're like, okay, in this one, or in this moment, I'm going to be able to give this certain amount of time to this, so that I can sacrifice time for blah, blah, blah. Down the road, I know that if I'm working hard right now, then later on, when I have kids and I have family, or I have a relationship, or I have an event that I need to go to, I can actually be there and I can show up. But you also got to learn how to be present in the moment. That's tough. That's the tough part. You know what I mean? That's the tough part. Trying to be there and to show up for the things that matter right now, instead of waiting and then hearing about it from people. I know for myself, man, it makes it a little bit difficult when you're younger, trying to figure life out, because people are usually on the same routine. It's like, go to college, just hang out with friends, go to clubs, have these certain habits. You have these certain things that you want to do, right? But as you get older, you start to recognize what really matters. And so then you start to outgrow certain scenes that you used to be very entertained by. And now you're like, well, where do I put my time at? Because time is the only thing that I get back. And then whenever you recognize that the time is not going nowhere and that it's passing every day, then you're sitting there trying to figure out what you need to do to maximize on it. So now you're making smarter decisions, now you're making better decisions, now you're making wiser decisions and more appropriate decisions, because you're actually thinking about them, which is what's supposed to happen. If you're still 27 years old thinking that it's okay to be 21 years old mentality, then it's not gonna line up. There's no reason that the 21 version of you and the 27-year version of you should be acting the same way. You guys should have outgrown each other. 27 should not be doing the same habits that 21 was doing. But that's what you're allowing to happen. And then you don't even recognize it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're putting yourself in a predicament where you're like, this is just routine. This is just what I'm doing. This is just what's gonna happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then you're like, maybe I need to grow up. Maybe I need to change these habits. Maybe I need to change my circles. Maybe I need to change the way that I carry myself. Maybe I need to change my confidence because I'm letting people walk over me. Like nowadays, man, whenever I talk to certain people, like I just don't let stuff slide no more. Like I used to be like, oh, well, like, you know, whatever it takes to kind of keep the peace. Like not in a nice guy way, but like, you know, kind of pick your battles type of way. And now when I hear something, like I just kind of snap on it. And some might call that a lack of self-control. Some might call that of like a, you know, a respect thing. But for me, it's just like, I don't like to, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I've worked too hard to keep my humble mentality, or to keep my humble space. It's not to be arrogant or to be cocky, but when people say certain things, I'm like, whoa, let's go ahead and correct that. Well, before I might just let it slide, and now I'm like, hold on, you know what I'm saying? But that's what's part of growing up, is that you start to recognize those things. And for me now, you know, I have conversations where I have to be straightforward. Being in the business world, you have to have straightforward conversations. You can't play lollygagging. You got to be direct. You can't say, hey man, I think that this might happen. Hey, just by the way, I think that this could happen. No, it's like, hey, this is what it's going to be. Rather, can you run with the program or not? Can you run with the program or not? Like, and that's how it is that people end up getting into relationships. So like, hey, look, this is how I run my program. And girls are starting to get, or let me say females are starting to get more strict about their program. And really, after all of it, they're still going to follow the men's program. It's crazy how that works, huh? Separate topic. Just things to think about, man. How are you utilizing your time for what actually matters? How are you able to adapt and learn how to actually grow up? Again, right now you're very stuck on trying to be someone else's pleasure. You're trying to be enough for somebody else. You're trying to be fulfilling to somebody else, so you're like pouring into all these different buckets that don't even pour into you. But then also when you pour into you, you feel like you're taking away from everybody's bucket. So like, you gotta find the balance. You gotta find the balance, man. And as you're growing up, you start to recognize what buckets need to be removed, what buckets need to be added, when it needs more water to it, and really all of that good stuff, man. But that's really up to you. Like at the end of the, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's your life. What are you gonna allow people to pour into you for, and what are you gonna pour into other things? It's okay to be doing a lot, but doing too much is what's gonna hinder you. You can't put 100% into everything every single day. Some days you may give 15%, other days you may just give 5. Some days you might be able to give 30, other days you can only give 10. Like, dude, it's just how it goes, man. It's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. And people, I recognize the more conversations I have with people, they're like, oh, I'm trying to do real estate, I'm trying to do e-commerce, or I'm trying to get into, you know, day trading, or I'm trying to get into this certain business aspect, and I'm trying to get into home goods, or I'm trying to get into the car business, or I'm trying to get into Airbnbs, or I'm trying to get into technology, and I'm doing this thing at school, but I'm also working on this side hustle, but I'm also, and it's like, you working, adding this stuff up, doing all these things are going to take away from the other 8 that you're trying to do. The 2 that you really need to focus on, the 1 that you really need to focus on, has to take away from the 8 other things. You're not going to be successful in all 8 things. You're not going to be successful in all 5 things. So you need to narrow it down to what you actually want to do, what you genuinely feel a passion and a desire for. What do you feel like is going to bring you the most success, or what do you think is going to make you the most fulfilled? What do you think is going to make the most impact that you can keep doing to be like, oh, okay, I can do that. That makes sense. And that can actually make me and take me farther than these other 7. You know what I'm saying? Up to you though. Again, bucket system. What buckets are you allowing to be poured into you? And, you know what I'm saying? Working all the time is going to burn you out. I used to say I'm not a computer chip. Then I started working, I started grinding, I started getting to it. And then I started burning myself out slowly but surely. And it took a lot for me to recognize that there's more to life. You got to learn how to break it up and be able to enjoy life while you're still working and still getting after it. So that being said, y'all, if y'all made it this far in the video, like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you guys think. And of course, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. So that being said, y'all, I'm gonna catch you in the next video.